Grandmacore meets spring, the budget-friendly decor guide you need. Spring is the perfect time to refresh your space with warm, nostalgic Grandmacore vibes without spending a fortune. Imagine delicate lace, floral patterns, and vintage treasures transforming your home into a cozy retreat. In this guide, we'll explore budget-friendly ways to embrace this aesthetic with DIY projects, thrifted finds, and small charming touches. Whether you're an avid thrifter or a DIY enthusiast, these tips will help you create a warm, inviting atmosphere that feels timeless and elegant. From upcycling forgotten treasures to crafting unique decor pieces, each step is simple and affordable. Let's dive into the world of Grandmacore and bring a touch of vintage charm into your home this spring. 1. Thrifting for vintage finds, the budget-friendly way. Head to your local thrift stores or flea markets with a list of key Grandmacore pieces: lace doilies, floral teacups, old picture frames, and vintage linens. Look for well-crafted items with intricate details that add charm to your space. Shopping secondhand not only saves money, but also gives new life to forgotten treasures. Take your time sifting through shelves and bins. Hidden gems often require a little patience. If an item isn't in perfect condition, a little DIY touch-up can work wonders. A fresh coat of pastel paint on a wooden frame or delicate embroidery on an old napkin can enhance the vintage aesthetic effortlessly. Pro tip: bring a mood board or Pinterest inspiration with you while thrifting to stay focused and avoid impulse buys. Two, how to use doilies and lace for instant Grandmacore charm. Lace and doilies add a delicate, vintage touch to any room. Drape a lace runner over your dining table for instant elegance, or layer doilies over shelves to create soft, textured accents. You can even frame vintage lace pieces as wall art for a simple yet beautiful display. Transform plain furniture by attaching lace with fabric glue to create charming patterns on tabletops or cabinet doors. Repurpose old lace curtains into soft window coverings, or even decorative pillow covers. These small touches create a warm, nostalgic feel without costing much. Pro tip: lightly spray vintage lace with fabric stiffener to make it more durable for DIY projects like coasters or lampshades. Three, DIY pressed flower art, easy and elegant wall decor. Start by gathering fresh flowers like daisies, lavender, or wild roses. Place them between parchment paper and press them inside a heavy book for about 2 weeks. Once dried, arrange them on cardstock and place them inside a vintage-style frame to create a timeless floral artwork. With layering flowers or adding handwritten quotes for a personal touch. If you want a glossy finish, use Mod Podge or a thin layer of clear resin to seal the flowers. These pieces make beautiful wall decor, gifts, or even unique bookmarks. Pro tip: use white or pastel-colored paper as a background to make the flowers stand out more vividly. Upcycling old jars and bottles for a rustic touch. Save glass jars from jams, sauces, or candles and give them new life with a simple wash and label removal. Wrap them in twine, lace, or burlap for a rustic Grandmacore look. These jars make perfect vases, candle holders, or storage for dried herbs and flowers. For an extra vintage touch, try painting jars with soft pastel chalk paint and distressing them lightly with sandpaper. Place LED fairy lights inside to create a warm, cozy glow in your space. These upcycled pieces bring charm without the expense of new decor. Pro tip: use mismatched vintage labels on your jars for an authentic, old-world apothecary feel. Five, budget-friendly floral arrangements, fresh, faux, and dried. Instead of expensive bouquets, pick wildflowers or buy budget-friendly fresh flowers from local markets. Arrange them in thrifted vases, teacups, or repurposed jars for an effortless vintage look. Mixing fresh blooms with dried lavender or eucalyptus enhances the rustic aesthetic. Faux flowers from dollar stores can be transformed with a little DIY magic. Lightly spray them with floral-scented essential oils for a realistic touch. If using dried flowers, mist them lightly with hairspray to prevent crumbling over time. These floral displays bring warmth and freshness into any space affordably. Pro tip: swap out flowers seasonally to keep your decor fresh and lively throughout the year. Six, Grandmacore-inspired candle holders and lighting hacks. Instantly adds warmth and nostalgia to a room. Repurpose old teacups, vintage glass bottles, or mason jars into candle holders. Simply place a tea light inside or pour melted wax with a wick for a custom candle. For an extra touch, use lace or patterned paper to create soft, glowing lantern effects. String up fairy lights in clear bottles or under lace fabric for a dreamy vintage glow. Soft lighting enhances the cozy, nostalgic feel of any Grandmacore-inspired space. Pro tip: add a few drops of lavender or vanilla essential oil to melted wax for a soothing aroma. Seven, handmade crochet and knitted decor pieces. If you love crafting, crocheting, or knitting, small decor pieces can add an authentic Grandmacore touch to your home. Start with simple projects like coasters, table runners, or soft pastel pillow covers. Choose vintage-inspired colors like cream, dusty rose, or sage green to enhance the aesthetic. If you're new to crochet, try making granny squares and sewing them together for a cozy throw blanket. You can also repurpose old knitted sweaters into decorative cushion covers. Handmade textiles add warmth and personality to any space. Pro tip: look for crochet doilies at thrift stores to use as table accents or wall hangings. transforming your kitchen with vintage-style accessories. Give your kitchen a Grandmacore makeover by displaying vintage tins, floral plates, and ceramic teapots. Organize dried goods in glass jars with handwritten labels for a charming apothecary-style pantry. Small wooden crates can serve as rustic spice racks or bread holders. Hanging a floral apron, embroidered dish towels, or vintage oven mitts adds instant charm. If you have open shelving, stack thrifted plates and cups for a cozy, lived-in feel. These small details make your kitchen feel warm and nostalgic. Pro tip: display a few vintage recipe books or handwritten family recipes for a sentimental touch. Nine. The power of botanical prints and where to find them cheap. Botanical prints are an easy and affordable way to add a Grandmacore aesthetic to your space. Look for vintage botanical illustrations in thrifted books, or print free public domain images online. Place them in antique frames for a classic, elegant look. Layer smaller prints on shelves or create a gallery wall with different-sized frames. You can also decoupage botanical prints onto trays, furniture, or candles for extra charm. These nature-inspired pieces bring an organic, calming feel to any room. Pro tip: use aged paper or tea-stained new prints to give them a more authentic vintage look. Tea time aesthetic: setting up a cozy Grandmacore tea corner. Create a tea station with a thrifted teapot, floral teacups, and a small tray. Display a mix of loose-leaf teas in labeled glass jars for a charming old-world feel. Add a lace doily or embroidered napkins to complete the cozy setup. For a more inviting touch, place a vintage lamp or a small vase of flowers next to your tea station. Keep a book or journal nearby for quiet, reflective tea moments. This little nook becomes a perfect space to unwind and embrace slow living. Pro tip: use a thrifted cake stand to display cookies or scones alongside your tea setup for extra charm. Affordable antique-style frames and where to get them. Check thrift stores, flea markets, and dollar stores for ornate frames with vintage detailing. Even if the color doesn't match your aesthetic, you can paint them in muted tones like ivory or pastel blue. A little distressing with sandpaper can make them look aged and timeless. Use these frames for family photos, botanical prints, or even pressed flowers. You can also remove the glass and use the frame alone as a vintage-style accent piece on shelves or walls. Mixing different frame sizes adds to the eclectic charm. Pro tip: use rub-on gold wax to highlight details and create an authentic antique effect. Reusing old books for vintage-inspired decor. Stack old books with worn covers on shelves or coffee tables for a cozy, nostalgic touch. Wrap books in craft paper and handwrite classic titles for a uniform aesthetic. You can even tie books together with twine for an extra vintage feel. Another idea is to remove pages and frame their beautiful illustrations or poetry excerpts. Place an open book with a sprig of dried lavender on a nightstand for effortless decor. Old books create a sense of warmth and storytelling in any room. Pro tip: use old sheet music or handwritten letters in frames for a romantic Grandmacore touch. DIY embroidery and fabric crafts for that nostalgic feel. Embroidery adds a delicate, handcrafted touch to any Grandmacore space. Start with simple floral patterns on handkerchiefs, pillowcases, or fabric napkins. Use soft pastel threads or vintage-inspired colors like mustard yellow and deep rose for a timeless feel. If you're not experienced with embroidery, try iron-on floral patches or lace appliques on cushions and table runners. Vintage fabric scraps can also be sewn into small sachets filled with dried lavender for a fragrant, old-world charm. Handmade fabric crafts create warmth and character in your home. Pro tip: display embroidery hoops on the wall for an easy, budget-friendly decor piece. 14. Adding cottagecore curtains and tablecloths on a budget. Soft, flowy curtains and delicate tablecloths instantly create a cozy Grandmacore atmosphere. Look for lace or floral pattern fabrics at thrift stores, or repurpose old bedsheets into rustic table covers. Light, airy fabrics let natural light filter through beautifully. If sewing isn't an option, use fabric glue or hem tape to create no-sew curtains. Layering sheer curtains over solid colored ones adds depth and softness to windows. These small changes bring a dreamy, romantic feel to any room without breaking the bank. Pro tip: add a touch of crochet lace trim to plain curtains for an extra vintage-inspired detail. Final touches: how to style your space for the ultimate Grandmacore look. Once you have your decor pieces in place, it's time to style everything together. Layer vintage books, floral teacups, and candle holders on shelves for a curated feel. Add fresh or dried flowers to different corners of your space to bring everything to life. Soft lighting, textured fabrics, and natural elements like wood and dried botanicals create a harmonious balance. Step back and adjust items until the space feels inviting and nostalgic. With these simple and affordable touches, your home will fully embrace the warmth of Grandmacore. Pro tip: swap out decor pieces seasonally to keep your space feeling fresh and inspired year-round.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Elle's Decor Studio. We hope you found these ideas inspiring and helpful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so share your ideas in the comments below. And make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos.
See you next time.